It's been a while. It's been like, I think I ended up turning off my Patreon in the beginning of June. And technically I finished the series somewhere in the middle to the end of April. So technically from that point up until the beginning of this month, I was on break because like at the beginning of this month, I started making more content to put up on my Patreon. So that's all going to be in the queue. So when the series first ended, the first thing that happened was I couldn't get any sleep, which was like mind-boggling because like I thought that the moment that I got off of my schedule, I can go back to having a regular sleep schedule because typically I usually have to wake up really early to work. If I can't sleep at night, I just go back to work. It annoys me that at the time that I didn't have anything to do, I didn't really get very good sleep. The other thing that kind of was a bummer, but it wasn't that big of a deal, was the fact that I was really looking forward to getting cake to celebrate the end of the series. And like, that was the exact time that my local grocery store, was like rearranging everything. And the first thing they took out was the entire like bakery section. So like everything from like their frozen cake all the way to their like baked bread was all like temporarily shoved away somewhere. I figure it was in the back. It took them like 2 months to bring it back. I don't remember how long it was gone, but like they moved everything over. What did I end up settling for? I don't remember. I want to say ice cream, but I don't think that's what it was. It's been a while. I have to check my calendar. So before the series ended, I had already made a list of things I wanted to take a shot at doing. The high priority thing I wanted done was I was working on 2 fanfics. One that I started in the middle of, I think it was in the middle of 2019. And the other one I started at the end of 2020, I think. And both of them were unfinished. So the one that I started in 2019, the plot was about a mechanic. It's set like in the distant future where everybody's living on colonies in space. He ends up coming to a different colony to meet up with his aunt who works at a I don't know the word for it right now. It's escaping me. She's also a mechanic. She works with other mechanics, but they're specifically for their version of race cars, which are not quite built like how race cars are built in reality, because it's a sci-fi. So aside from that, the venue that usually hosts everything hosts like different types of events aside from racing, but racing is like the biggest event that they have. And they also have like these idols that perform at the same time. And like his entire story, he is like kind of cyborgish because like, you know, it's the future, and he had some sort of disease that devoured like half of his body. So he's mostly made of robot, and he's in love with this girl that he met on the internet, and she's an idol, and she's also mostly made of robot herself. So she's just like him. And like the entirety of the storyline is him accidentally falling into racing because the chairman ends up finding out about him and his backstory, and loves that he's in love with this girl, and tries to use the both of them as like a story to sell in order to get more people into racing. This story stopped at, I think it stopped like when I first got stuck. It was in the middle of the race. And like it took like several books to get to the race. So I picked the book up a couple of times. Like I think it was like at the end of 2020, I finally finished his perspective when he actually like got out of the race, and the rest of the storyline was supposed to be taken from his girlfriend's point of view. And I worked on it a little bit in the beginning of 2021, but I never picked it back up until like I got off of the comic. The second fanfic I was working on was about a boy. How do I say this without giving away what the series is that this fanfic is for? Oh my god. Okay, so the story is about this guy and his childhood friend that he is kind of like a brother to him. The only reason why they know each other is because they're parents, and he actually doesn't really like him. And the thing is that he has all these different like things that he wants to do that he doesn't really want his friend getting involved in. And so he starts doing all this stuff behind his back, including dating another boy from their school. He spends the entire storyline trying to keep this a secret from his childhood friend. In the process, he actually kind of like messes up his relationship with his new boyfriend. There's a good chunk of the storyline where they actually spend a lot of time apart from each other, but they eventually get back together. And after that, it derails into a plot about them making music and forming a band. And like, that takes up so much of the story. It is relevant to the childhood friend's interests, which is why it's in there. And it becomes like an ongoing problem for them for books and books and books. And it just, I had no way of getting around this. And like, after Monica had her issues with her schizophrenia at the end of 2021, I lost momentum and I wasn't able to finish. I was barely tapping at it. So that was the first book I finished. I had intentions of skipping to another book and having a time jump, because they were going to do a live performance in the spring, and I never made it there. And like, I just thought, okay, I'm just going to finish it in this book and leave it at that, because I just did not have any more inspiration to keep going. So that's what I did. I finished that fanfic first, and then I'm still trying to finish the racing story from 2019. I'm in the girlfriend's point of view. I'm in her very last point of view chapter, and then I'm switching back to the boyfriend, and they're gonna reunite somewhere. And like, I just I don't know if I'm gonna be able to get it done at the end of this month. I told myself that I wasn't going to keep working on it because I wanted to go back to writing original things, and I was gonna like slate that for September. So like, I'm so annoyed by how long it's taking. And I have so many brief moments where I just don't know what to do with it. And like, it's a slog, but whenever I do pick it up, I manage to catch up. So I don't know. I'm hoping to get to his point of view at least by the last week of this month. And like, I don't know, I've been playing with the idea if I wanted to like slightly work on this fanfic while also picking up something original, and I don't really know. I just feel like maybe I should just let it go, because it's so old by this point. I started in 2019, it's already 2022. Oh my god. Okay, so that was like the first thing of priority. The second thing of priority was picking up some sort of like new skill. So the three major things I wanted to do was 3D modeling, because Blender is free. Music, because like, I write so many fanfics surrounding the topic of music that like, it makes me angry, because I feel like I'm indirectly telling myself, like, you really, really, really want to become like a music producer, you need to start learning this stuff. And I'm mad that I didn't try this like in the past. So the last thing that I wanted to try doing was pixel art. And I started doing that first. I decided to do that in tandem with taking a stab at NSFW artwork. So I ended up making a Twitter account to post NSFW pixel art. I have to admit, pixel art is actually a lot more fun than doing regular illustrating, especially because I can make the image as small as I want. And it's so much more gratifying. But it also feels like one of those things where like, if you have a tablet, you're basically ahead of everybody else. And like, because I'm doing everything with a mouse, because that's all I've ever owned, I still feel like I'm behind. But like, I'm just making do with it. I'm just like, it is what it is. The problem with doing NSFW is that I run out of ideas really, really quickly, because I have a very specific niche that I'm interested in. And like, there's a lot of overlap with different types of porn on top of it that I'm just not interested in. And not to mention, I really hate like, there's this super like moist, disgusting, sticky, like porn that people are really, really excited about. And I just, I cannot draw genitalia. I just, no. So a lot of my stuff is like, it's vanilla. It's very vanilla. It's extremely vanilla. Okay. So that was like the first thing I picked up. And like, I spent like a lot of like my time trying to like design characters for that, because a lot of these NSFW artists that I've been seeing on Twitter usually have like some sort of like character that's theirs that everybody knows them for. So I spent too much time designing characters for that. One character comes from some sort of like reject maho shoujo idea, and the other one came from like this fantasy idea that I scrapped like a really long time ago. And like, so they're a couple, and I do a whole bunch of weird like kinky shit with them now. Okay, so as for my other 2 skills that I was trying to get into, Blender took a while. The first time I attempted to do the make a donut tutorial that you can find easily on YouTube, is this guy, I think his name is Blender Guru. I don't really remember, but he has this whole like tutorial about making a donut, and I remember taking this class. It was either in 2019 or 2020. I don't remember. It's been a while. It was like around the time that we were getting into the combat portion of the comic, and I wanted to see if I can try learning Blender in order to make the weapons in 3D, but like it was just so difficult to like do anything with it that I ended up dropping it. For the record, I still haven't figured out how to like make 3D models off of images. Yeah, I've tried it like 3 times already, and all my 3D models look like crap. I really need to like reevaluate what I'm doing, but like what I did end up figuring out how to do is sculpting, and I didn't figure that out until like I think it was like a month later, because like I decided to dedicate like an entire week to doing one of the things I wanted to learn, and I did a week of Blender, and I got a whole bunch of shit done. I ended up finding a great sculpting tutorial, and so I was just sculpting like doll heads, because I really wanted to get into 3D printing doll heads for my ball joint dolls, just to have custom faces I can't find. Because like if you've been a ball joint doll collector for a really long time, a lot of the selection, the characters look very alienish, and it's very rare to find dolls that actually look like human beings. Most of the men and women look like they're sad. And like, it's frustrating because I just want a doll that smiles. And like, it's kind of a rare thing. Even my current collection of ball joint dolls, I only have like 1 doll that smiles. And like all of my my other 3 BJDs have like these neutral expressions. They're not making much of a face. And I just want more dolls that smile. So I did a head that was supposed to be like an idea of what I wanted for like a tan skin doll. Oh, that's another thing. Tan skin dolls are really, really hard to get in ball joint dolls, because most of the ball joint doll companies are based in Asian countries where tan skin is not typically appreciated. There are certain companies that actually do a variety of skins, like Lutz, I don't know how to pronounce their name, but like they have a variety of skins to choose from. The only thing I don't like about them is that their sculpts look very like unfinished. If you actually look at them unpainted, they seem very unfinished. I figured they were just like relying on the face up to carry the rest of their look or something. So after I did the 2 heads that I was playing with, I ended up making a little fox face, because I recently came up with this OC. I came up with him sometime around 2020, at the beginning of 2021, around then. And like, he's actually a parody of another character I made, who is a cat. So, and I'm going to cue his illustration, but like I took that 3D model of his little fox face, and I ended up like using it as a reference and drawing like a character diagram for him. So that's going to be up in the queue. That's going to go up later. I don't know like what day it's going to go up yet, because I haven't like set up the queue yet. Personally, I'm not really good at drawing animals. I'm not really a furry, which is hilarious, because when I was a kid, I used to draw dogs like a lot. But like there was a point at which I stopped, and I just like went whole hog in drawing humans. Yeah, so since then I haven't picked up doing Blender, although I've been thinking about making very specific references, like Donald Duck's face is one of the things I really wanted to make, because like back when I graduated from high school, I was doing a lot of artwork of Daisy Duck. But like I found it frustrating not be 100% sure about what like certain angles of her face would look like. Like a view from underneath her face would be like really hard to imagine for me. So I feel like having a 3D model of that might make it easier to make a lot more artwork of Daisy, since it's so hard to find good artwork of Daisy. So that's a goal for me. Number one thing that I want to do is try to get back into trying to make objects, because that was another thing I wanted to do, was to be able to 3D print objects from my dolls. I have a doll that has high heel feet. She doesn't have ankle joints. Her feet are at a perpetual high heel shape. and she needs high heel shoes. So I want to be able to 3D model her high heel shoes, like really cool high heel shoes. But like when I first tried doing that, I messed up so bad, and it just came out looking like terrible. So like I need to find a better tutorial on making objects from pictures. I also really want to try again at making my like ideal tan skin head face again, because like I'm mad about how the first one turned out. It came out looking really bad. Okay, so as for the other thing that I wanted to learn was how to make music. The first thing I did was download FL Studio because it had been like highly recommended to me by a whole bunch of people in the past. And like it has a really, really big catch. When you download the demo version, it comes with everything at the expensive, like I think it's like either $400 or $500, I can't remember. The expensive like version comes with everything. The problem is you can't save anything. Whatever you work on, you lose it. And like that was a gut punch for me, because I feel like I can't learn unless I can continuously go back to a project. So if every time I have to mess with this program, it has to be from scratch, it makes me feel like I'm going to not like genuinely make any progress. So I only had FL Studio for like a week or two. I can't remember when I got rid of it, because like it just wouldn't allow me to do like the bare minimum that I wanted, even though it had so many different features. All right, so my alternative program, which was also highly recommended, was Reaper. Reaper was made by the people who made, I don't really know if people still use this program. It's called Winamp. Winamp used to be the big MP3 player that you would get back in the late 90s, early 2000s. I think mostly in the late 90s. They eventually sold Winamp. I don't remember to who. I think it was Yahoo. And they made Reaper as a music producing program, and it's very much like Winamp in the sense that you can actually you can change like how it looks. Fans can actually make their own custom skins for it, which is exactly like Winamp. I used to love doing that as a kid. It also is like open, so that way people can actually program their own like additions and add-ons and stuff to it and make it available for other fans to download. So like it's a very like community driven program, which can also be a bad thing as it is a good thing, because like there's so much stuff, and it's really hard to find the things that you're gonna need if you don't know what you need yet. And like the moment I walked into it, I wasn't really sure what I needed, so I ended up just downloading a whole bunch of instruments. I went to a bunch of free instrument sites, and I downloaded as many as I possibly could. I still feel like I need more, but I don't really know how to even use one set yet. So like it's frustrating. I just barely figured out where the piano is. The one thing I'm very interested in is trying to figure out how to manipulate the MIDI keyboard via a microphone, because like that was like the first thing I ever learned about Reaper when I was interested in looking into it. Honestly, I was trying to figure out how to do that for FL Studio, and I ended up finding a video on how to do it for Reaper, which is actually kind of funny. The only reason why I'm interested in this is because I just don't have a MIDI keyboard. And like trying to do it from the actual like computer typing keyboard is a bit difficult, because like all of the places where you think that each key is going to be is not quite there. Every time I attempt it, I always like end up pressing the wrong keys. So like I'm so annoyed that I didn't get to save like any of the previous keyboards I've owned, because like I think in total we had like 2 keyboards. One keyboard died. I think it used to belong to my sister Stina, and like our second keyboard, our mom bought it because she really wanted it, and I used to play it like crazy. I need to get another one if I want to do this at the ability that I'm comfortable with doing it, or figure out how to use the microphone. So I haven't attempted it yet because the last time I was trying to make music was like during that time where I was just trying to dedicate an entire week to do one skill, and like I flopped through that entire week, because Reaper has this weird problem where it turns off the audio every time you access it. So if you're following a tutorial, it won't let you hear what the person's saying, and it makes me upset. It makes me super upset. So like I always find myself having to go back and replay the video and then go back to the program. I really need to take notes while doing it. It requires it so much. I just, playing with it makes me feel like I can't see myself getting good at this, but I know that that's how starting out always feels like. I'm hoping that the second time I pick it up, it'll probably be a little bit easier. Like how the second time I picked up Blender, it was a lot easier for me. Maybe I'm just looking at the wrong tutorials, but I'm following a whole bunch of people who specialize in it. On top of trying to learn 3D, trying to learn pixel art, and trying to learn music, I was trying to find a program that was stronger than PaintShop Pro. If you don't already know, the 3 programs I use are PaintShop Pro 6, 9, and X2, which is technically 12, and they're very old. I believe PaintShop Pro 6 came out in the mid-2000s. I was still in high school when I bought it. Most people who are born during that time are all like teenagers now. And like their artwork looks so much better than mine. So the first thing I tried out was Inkscape, because like I was really interested in trying to do vector artwork, and Inkscape is considered a good alternative to the Adobe vectoring program. From what I can tell, especially after watching videos of other people using the Adobe program, they don't work the same. Inkscape is like bizarrely complicated. It's like, why? I just how trying to do gradients with it is like, why does it work like this? It doesn't make any sense. I'm so used to how PaintShop Pro does gradients, but like I also acknowledge the way that PaintShop Pro does gradients is it comes out looking very bad at least on my screen. It looks very bad. It doesn't transition in a smooth way. And that was one of the things that made me really, really want to get like a higher quality program, just so that my gradients don't look stupid. Oh my God. I suffered through trying to figure out how to make lines with Inkscape. Line arting with Inkscape is almost impossible, but I did find an interesting workaround. This is the thing that has made me keep Inkscape on my desktop, is that you can take a line art that you've already done and have Inkscape translate that into vectors. And like, it has completely like revolutionized my line art so much. It looks so good now. It makes me cry, because like if I had known that I could just get Inkscape to have better line art, my stuff wouldn't have looked like shit for the last 7 years I've been doing comics. I mean, I did my first comic in pencil because like I just didn't know if I could like afford having to constantly change out pens, which actually technically was a much better idea, because like when I actually had to use pens, I was constantly going through pens, and I wasted so much money on pens. Oh my God. I wish so much that I had just like discovered Inkscape. I don't even know if Inkscape even had this feature during the time I started comics, because if it did, it would have just made everything so much different. And like, so from now on, I'm using Inkscape to do my line art. And like, I really wanted to use PaintShop Pro's vectoring program for this, but like it takes, like I said, it takes a really long time to just line up through a picture. And then you always run into that situation where you mess up like the way the eyes look, and the eyes don't have the same amount of feeling in it because you vectored it wrong. You know what I mean? It makes me so upset. So like, I like this better because like I can get it right the first time, and then it ends up translating it more cleanly. The only issue I have with it is that I can't do like super thin lines. So I constantly have to keep raising up the values, so that way the lines are very thick, which is not the greatest thing, but if I can at least doctor the sketch a little bit so that way all the lines are a little bit more neat, then it will feel less like prone to making holes in the line art. And like, I'm just so happy with this. Most of the line art in the queue coming up in the next month or two is going to be made by Inkscape, and I'm not sure if you're going to see the difference. I mean, I see the difference. Oh my God, I see the difference so much. But like, you might not be able to tell, but yeah, there's a difference. There's a huge difference. Okay, so what else happened besides that? I did open Canvas. I did Krita. What else did I do? I even did the most recent version of PaintShop Pro. And like, even though it was initially exciting, all the programs did not do what I wanted it to do. I really hate how some of these programs are organized. I hate how like the right and left click feature works for certain brushes. It just feels like this would be so much easier. I just wish you were all PaintShop Pro. But as for the actual like recent version of PaintShop Pro 2022, the gradients are still the same. I'm like, I could not believe it when I actually accessed the gradients. I was like, why are they still look like this? Why do they still look like shit? What have you been doing? What have you guys been doing? It makes me so angry. It's like, why do they still look like they don't transition well? Like, what else is there for them to do? It's just my computer that makes it look like ass. I don't know. It made me so angry. Oh my God. Okay. So the only program that I have not tried is Clip Studio Paint. I have not tried it yet, and I'm afraid that if I try it, I'm gonna hate it. And I feel like this is probably the case for the other two programs, and I think it's also going to be the case for Clip Studio Paint, that I'm probably going to need a tablet in order to get the effects that I actually want out of it. And because I'm so happy with Inkscape, I feel like I don't feel as motivated to try. So like, I'm saving up for a tablet now, because like, I hate that I'm stuck in this hole where I feel like I can't make my art progress because I don't have this ability to actually like draw directly onto the picture. I mean, like, I do have a touchscreen computer, and it is possible for me to like use that, but it doesn't work well unless I'm in like a small size. So like, I don't know. I hate feeling like I'm a mile from where I want to be. Like, I can see it. I can see where it is that I want to be, but I'm a mile away from it, and I can't get there right now. All I do is just walk one step at a time. So yeah. As far as my artwork goes, what have I made recently aside from porn? I took out a moment to just like try to draw specific characters that I had in my head. Like, for example, I've had this like peacock man in my head. Technically he is like another character based off of another character. And I always do that. I always start with a certain character, and then I move on and I base another character off of that person. So like, the first character that I came up with, his name was Sunil, and he was an adult. And now I have this teenager who's also a peacock man, and his name is Yash. So obviously they have Indian names because peacocks are the national bird of India. So it just felt right to make them Indian. I don't even know if it's like considered racist for me to be even thinking about this, but like I've loved these characters for like the last like, oh no, when did I make these? I think it was like what, in 2018 or 2019? I think it's either 2018 or 2019. I actually started like working on these characters. So there's gonna be a picture of Yash coming up in the queue with other characters I came up with him. No pictures of Sunil yet though, which makes me angry because Sunil came first, and Sunil has a very specific like look to him that I haven't like nailed down yet. But like for Yash, I actually figured out how I wanted him to look. And there'll be more information about him on the post. I haven't wrote it out yet. Okay. Aside from that, I had a zebra guy who I've been like on and off working on, and then I had a polar bear child girl. I had two versions of her, one as a child, one as a tween, and I decided recently to make them sisters instead of two versions of the same character, and I'm going to use them as mascots for one of my my channels, because I ended up starting a doll channel, and I thought that'd be cute if I used them as the mascots for that. But like, they're polar bears, I feel like they're only going to be relevant for like one time of the year unless I come up with more bears. I don't know, I don't want to. So like, I don't have any pictures of them right now on the queue. I do have a finished picture of the older version. I haven't actually like queued it yet. I really want to finish the other versions because I changed the style a couple of times, but I just didn't like how the first one came out. What else was there? What else did I make aside from that? Aside from the fox guy I was talking about earlier? Well, I'm just trying to get out a lot of the OCs I've had in my head that I haven't like done anything with. Aside from that, as for my actual YouTube channel, when I first started out, I verified my doll channel and my stationary channel, but as of this moment, I haven't done shit for the stationary channel. It actually shocks the hell out of me, because like, we were so obsessed with stationary back when I started working on the comic, and I just feel so like weird that we haven't done anything stationary related, and we have all the stationery we can like review and talk about, and we've done nothing with it, and it just astonishes me, and I'm just like, I'm so mad about it. Like, where's my inspiration for that? Where'd it go? Okay, so as for My doll channel, I put up all the box openings for the dolls that I got recently. I reviewed specific dolls, like mostly just MGA dolls. MGA is the company that makes Bratz. They've made Nana Surprise, LOL Surprise, Rainbow High. Currently, they're producing mermaids. It's really hard to say. So like, they've been just knocking it out of the park because like they're a privately owned company, unlike Mattel. Mattel owns Barbie, and like Mattel has just been putting out crap lately. And the worst part is Mattel got the Disney Princess license back this year from Hasbro who makes My Little Pony. The photos are already out. The first thing that they did is that plastic molded like top crap with like the one like bad fabric skirt for each doll, and it looks so bad. I mean, I feel like all the princesses' new faces are pretty decent, but like Merida, oh, they did Merida so dirty. I don't even like Merida, and like they did her so dirty. Oh my god. I'm so scared for Jasmine and Snow White. We have not seen them yet. Even Pocahontas, did they even bother doing Pocahontas? I don't think so. I haven't been doing anything recently on my doll channel, which actually makes me upset. I wanted to film myself doing sewing, but like just starting out sewing, oh my god. I managed to get Monica the dream sewing machine. Oh, it's not what we were hoping for. It makes me so angry. Okay, so if you ever heard me talk about sewing machines before, the two most popular sewing machines that are sold at most stores, they used to be very good sewing machine brands until they got sold to Chinese companies and some of the parts became made of plastic. So that's what makes the sewing machines lighter now. And like, I to some degree, I think it's a little bit better because it's much easier to make finer like stitches in tinier places. And the sewing machine that we ended up getting is considered the amateur of professional machines. It's called Baby Lock. And like, this thing is not gentle. I mean, like when we got it, it had the settings were off. So I had to go like put that thing in my backpack, bicycle it down to the nearest sewing machine guy, and like have him fix it so that way it wouldn't destroy like the fabric we were using as a test fabric, because like that's what all it did when we first started trying to sew. And like he did a good job, but it's the power of the machine is still a little bit too strong, so it's so frustrating. It was just hilarious because like for the 3 projects that we've made so far, I've been using glue to keep all the pieces together, and having that glue in between the pieces usually makes it harder for the sewing machine to pass through the fabric. And yet this machine is still like destructive with passing through the fabric, and it's starting to make me feel like I should just have invested in the cheap sewing machine. I just want a machine that Monica doesn't feel like she can't control it with. And like so far it's been this case where like a lot of it, I just feel like we're back where we started when we moved away. Before we moved away, we were sewing and she was letting the machine kick her butt all the time, and she was constantly putting out like these terrible pieces. And back then it was because the machine needed to be cleaned and we didn't know how to do that. So like her producing the same quality with a new machine is extremely discouraging, which is why I'm thinking about getting a second machine. Because like I do think the Baby Lock machine is good. It's just too strong. It's best for like really, really like hard fabric. It's not good for the soft stuff that we use. So like now is not a good time for that because we're so fucking broke right now. Oh my god. So aside from my stationery channel and my doll channel, I now have an animation channel. I don't even know if I can even bother calling it animation since the movement is just mostly mouth flaps. We had the idea of making little short videos of some of our inside jokes. At the time of this recording, I've only made like 5 videos. I have like the 6th video is sitting on my memory card. I haven't done anything with it. If I have free time within the next like week or 2, maybe I can get it finished. It makes me so mad because we've had this joke around for a while. So like at least the jokes that I felt like were the easiest to communicate are on the internet. It wasn't worth it, but we also made a TikTok. of course, the TikToks are getting a lot more views than the YouTube channel, but at the same time, I also understand that it's like, there's so far it seems like there's no real audience for the type of jokes that we're telling, which is fine, because I'm mostly producing this because I just don't want to forget these jokes. So yeah. That's all that I've been doing for YouTube. I haven't been really doing anything else. The other big thing that's been going on is I forced Monica to go to the doctors and get reevaluated again. So we went to another MRI just to see how her brain is doing. So she came out back fine. She doesn't have like that growth that she did at the beginning of 2020, but her prolactin levels are still messed up, and we just figured that one of her medications is causing that. She's also has this new problem. I talked about it before on my vlog channel, that she can't control her eyes as of like usually in the middle of the day. And according to some of the doctors we've seen so far, they explain that the medication that she's taking for her schizophrenia keeps giving her like Parkinson's like problems. So she can't really move like one of her arms very fast, and she can't really control like which direction her eyes are gazing down, and she can't raise them up. So the doctor ended up teaching her a little exercise method to trick her eyes to look up more, so that it could break that problem. And it's actually helped some. It's not a permanent fix, but at least has helped a little bit. And so that's been making me more relieved. So I don't feel as like stressed out about going outside with her. Aside from the fact it's been fucking hot. Oh my God. I mean, I live in California, so it's fucking hot. Oh my God. So is there anything else that's happened recently? Anything else? Aside from I had to put together the biggest and most dangerous piece of IKEA furniture I've ever seen in my life. And oh my fucking God, I'm surprised I'm still alive. Oh my God. There were moments where that thing was unstable and I was worried it was going to fall on me. Oh my God. But like having it in the living room has transformed the living room. We have so much space now to put things, and like I'm so glad I have all this space on top of the shelving unit to actually put, like, let's say if I want to collect inbox dolls I can, but like right now I'm just like really dissatisfied with what's going on in the doll community. I mean, like I'm not interested in the Monster High reboot. I really don't like where Rainbow High is going. Can you believe that they made a parody of Eurovision? I'm like, fuck you, don't do that. They made a really bad parody of Eurovision. I'm like, how dare you plaster this all over your new dolls? I'm like, I hate them so much. They basically made a parody of the Eurovision logo, and like that's just their thing. They make parodies of all sorts of famous logos, but like it made me so angry. As a Eurovision fan, it made me so fucking angry because like all of the songs, a lot of the songs suck. Oh my God. No, it's not suck like the way real Eurovision songs can suck. It's like they didn't even try to figure out what a Eurovision song would even sound like. I'm like, oh, I'm trying not to get mad. Oh my God. I've never had a doll line do this to me. I'm so angry. So right now, I'm in the process of making artwork for the doll cosplays we want to do within the next, I'm going to say this year or next year. We're saving up for specific like things that we need for these outfits. So, Monica wanted to do Haruno Sakura, the Genin version from the first series. I bought her a wig for this and she wouldn't cut it because she felt like it looked too perfect. So in the picture that I drew, Sakura has really long hair. I wanted to do Yomu Kanpaku. I made her look like Fauna because like I used a picture of Yomu Kanpaku to even like design a face I wanted Fauna to have when I was working on her for the first time. So that's why that came out like that. I'm currently in the process of working on Miku. Who else did I do? Oh yeah, Kaito Saint Tail. So the specific version of Saint Tail that we wanted to do was the manga version because I'm not a fan of the anime version. The anime version, they tried to like give her the Maho Shoujo treatment, as in force her to have a flashy looking one, force her to have some sort of like accessory for her outfit to make it look prettier, and it just takes away from what she's supposed to be. She's supposed to be an actual like smoke and mirrors magician. She's not supposed to be a supernatural magician, and like it's trying to make it that, which was why I hate the anime so much. Not to mention that the the manga is a lot better at brisk storytelling, and the anime is just so like over padded, and so it just feels very boring when you watch it. And I hated the first like 3 episodes in my head of watching English. I'm like, oh, this sucks so bad. Oh my god. But like Kaito Saint-Tail is a really good manga. If you have a chance to actually read it, it's really good. So yeah, it's funny because like at the time that I was working on the artwork for this cosplay, they announced that they're making an Android of the anime version of her, and I just don't get mad. I just want the manga version. Please just give me the manga version. Oh my god. Okay, so I guess that the big question I haven't answered is, what am I going to do with this Patreon since I'm no longer doing comics? It's been a really hard time. I've been like trying so hard not to want to go back to comics because I've gotten so like used to doing that all the time. But like, I just don't know if this Patreon will work well with the other things that I want to do. We've been talking about it, and we kind of think that there might be some like potential crossover overlap with the stationery thing I want to do. So I want to make stickers. I want to make like interesting things like that, and like I could possibly do it here, but like I just don't know if like it'll be accepted because it's still artwork, but it's not like storytelling. So yeah, I don't know. So some of the things I was planning on doing was bullet journal spreads, but like I don't know if I can actually pull it off because I've gotten so used to just like printing out calendars, just, you know, on scratch paper, using them and shredding them later. So it just feels weird to have an entire book as like a calendar I have to draw by hand. I'm not used to doing that. I don't know if I can get used to doing that. For the few times I tried to keep like a written record in a sketchbook, I felt like it was just a big waste of paper. So I don't really know if that's what I really want to do. I have a lot of sketchbooks I can start a bullet journal in, but like I think the passion isn't there anymore, and I'm kind of sad about it. So I mean I can still do stickers though. I have a list of ideas for journal stickers I wanted because I couldn't find anyone who was doing any of these things. So I think I can at least like try to go back to that. But like a little part of me wants to catch up with the fan art I've never been able to do over the last like 7 years. And like, I feel this passion towards that, but I don't feel comfortable sharing my artwork online anymore. And I don't know why. I think it's just because of the few times that I've posted up artwork on my Tumblr account, all that artwork got stolen. So I just don't feel the same way about sharing things. I mean, like, I don't know. I have a new Twitter account. I could post my artwork there, but I just don't feel like I trust the internet enough to actually do that. And then that's a bad thing. I don't know what it's gonna take. Maybe something will happen. Maybe I'll finally find a new series I can like draw a lot of art for. I mean, like I had that with Hitalia and Moggy and Pokemon, and like right now I don't feel it for anything. I was really into Token Rambu, but like I just felt that their costumes were like way too complex, and I just could not see myself like trying to memorize the amount of stuff on one person's body in order to draw them like 1,000 times. I love the characters that I love, but they're not easy to draw. And they have this let's just call it a final form version, and like that the outfits are even more complex. And I'm just like, how dare you make this so hard? Oh my god. So yeah, I don't really know what I feel about that, because like I just haven't found the series that I'm actually like really interested in to actually do a lot of art for. So like right now I'm just like playing with easy things, you know, Vocaloid and Toho, you know, series that don't require like a very specific style. I mean, you can draw them in any art style. People have drawn them in various art styles, so there's no like one art style for those franchises. So yeah, I'm gonna try playing with that in the next like few months, because like I really need to try to kick this the stationary channel in the pants and get it going, because like I just got nothing for it. Aside from that, we are saving up for the doll cosplays I want to do. I'm gonna need to try to figure out how to sculpt with Sculpey, because there's no way I'm gonna find shoes that look like the Naruto shoes for my high heel doll. So I'm gonna have to make high heel Naruto shoes. Oh my god, I am like really nervous about that, but I'm looking forward to seeing what kind of content that's gonna look like for my doll channel next year, if I can make a buffer, because I'm only thinking about building up buffers for my YouTube. I had a small buffer for this summer, but it ran out really fast because I just ran out of ideas, and like, oh, these doll companies put out way too many dolls, more dolls than I can keep up with. So yeah, I guess that's virtually it. If there's anything else you want to see on the channel, just comment down below and I'll see what I can pull off. I haven't tried recording on my new computer since I got this new computer, and I'm a little worried that it's going to be kind of sluggish, which is why I haven't been recording much on the computer. So we'll have to see. But if I can actually do it, then I will try to attempt at least a Blender tutorial. Maybe even like show how the Inkscape vectoring thing is working out for me. I don't know. I really want to share some of these things because they've been so fun to play with. So we'll have to see how that goes. Alrighty then. That's all for today. I will see you in the next one.